Now, for the last few weeks, we have been inundated with stories, commentaries, documentaries, interviews, and analysis on how far we have come in the implementation of the 2010 Constitution. You've heard from politicians, elected leaders, civil society activists, the president, his deputy, and even the drafters of the very document itself. They've talked about its hits and its misses. You've heard words like constitutional moment, constitutional rigidity, constitutionalism. We've discussed the spirit versus the letter of the law. You're also about to hear the word referendum a lot in the coming days and months. All of these big words and big names aside, there is one very important individual in it all. You. Yes, you. You see, it's not by accident that the very first words in the Constitution of Kenya, for which people lost life and limb, are "we the people." No other document has given you so much power. This Constitution was a direct response, a protest even against all power being consolidated in the executive, the presidency, and indeed the person holding that office. It aimed at releasing that power to the people, that is you and I. But constitutions are nothing if they're only on paper. You see, we've been very good at blaming the executive or parliament failing to live up to their constitutional obligations. But what about us? Why do we still act as if we're so powerless in spite of the powers given to us? Why do we still think that there is a savior out there coming to rescue us and clean up our country, fix our problems, implement our constitution? Who is this mythical figure with supposed superhuman powers? Folks, why do we ask Jerotich Sei or Shefa Okore or even David Ndii to run for president and fix the country? Why do we want Raila Odinga to go out and protest for us? Why do we sit back and wait for someone else to stand up and speak for us, fight for our rights? And why do we want someone else to decide for us whether we want a referendum or not? Why? When the Constitution of Kenya actually gives you and I the power to defend our own constitution. Article 3 states that every person has an obligation to respect, uphold, and defend this constitution. It doesn't speak of senators, civil rights activists. It says every person. That includes you and I. If there is ever a time that we've been given priority, power, and authority, as well as obligation to make decisions for ourselves and our country, it is now. So, my fellow countrymen, we have to decide what sort of country we want to live in. What kind of county? What kind of ward? Do we want a country where there's rampant corruption and impunity? Do we really care about values like integrity? Does that reflect in the leaders we ourselves elect? Do we want a referendum or not? I put it to you, yes, you, that you have much more power than you think. It is you that will decide the failure or success of this constitution. No one else. This defeatist attitude, throwing our hands up in the air in surrender, just won't do. What are we willing to do to move our country forward in the spirit of the Constitution? What price are we willing to pay? Folks, there is no knight in shining armor or an alien from outer space coming to rescue us from the current mess. We are the ones we've been waiting for. And that is my take.